Hello, my dear children. Children, in the last chapter which we discussed in civics, we discussed about the union executive. And if you remember that we had discussed that there are three organs of the government, namely the union legislature, the union executive, and the third one today we are going to discuss in detail is the judiciary. Okay, now the judiciary, um, as we all know that we are in our country, there is a federal form of government, means that there is a government in the center and at the state level also. But as far as the judicial system is concerned, judicial means related to the laws, okay, related to the interpretation of laws and related to the safeguarding of rights of people. Okay, so this system in our country, the judicial system, is a single system, means that there is no separate system for the state government and no separate system for the central government. There is a unified system. Okay, now if you can see, I have just made an effort to draw, though it is really not very relevant, but again, to just make it a little different, I have drawn the hierarchy of the judicial system in our country, the Indian judiciary. Okay, at the lowest level, if you see here, this they are the Nyay Panchayats. Okay, Nyay Panchayats are also judicial bodies, and like I told you that the judiciary, the function of the judiciary is to interpret laws. Now, what is the function? It is to interpret the laws. Now, interpret means to take out the meaning of any law which is being passed. Okay, so if there is a law in a country and what is the actual meaning of the provisions of the law, that is called interpretation. So the function of the judiciary is to interpret the laws and to protect the rights of the citizens of a country. Okay, so as you can see, the hierarchy of the judiciary in India, at the lowest level, or we can say at the village level, is the Nyay Panchayats. This is at the village level. Okay, and we are going to discuss each of the levels, or each of the levels of the judiciary one by one in detail. After the Nyay Panchayats, there are the subordinate courts, or we also call them the district courts. We also call them the subordinate courts. Okay, so the subordinate courts are at the district level. Okay, so they are called district courts. Like we have civil courts, criminal courts, revenue courts. So they are divided, and according to the category or the type of the case they handle, they are named. Meaning that the civil courts will handle all the civil cases, and the criminal cases will be handled by the criminal courts. Okay, like that. So the district courts are also called the subordinate courts. Then after the district court is the, at the state level you have the high court. Okay, for every state there would be a high court. Okay, and above the high court, which is the Supreme Court. This is the apex body. When I say apex, means at the topmost judicial body of India is the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is located in New Delhi. Okay, and this is the court. Below the Supreme Court there are high courts in each state and subordinate courts below them. Okay, but this is the highest judicial body or judicial authority of the country. It is said that Supreme Court is a guardian of the constitution, means that our constitution is well guarded or well protected by the Supreme Court of India. Okay, then children, this Supreme Court of India is headed by a Chief Justice. We also say Chief Justice of India, CJI. Okay, he is heading the Supreme Court, and there are also judges. With the number of judges, he is heading a Supreme Court. These judges of the Supreme Court, there is a little qualification which is required to become a judge of Supreme Court. Okay. Now, the judges of the Supreme Court are appointed. Now, he is appointed by the president. Okay, in consultation with the Council of Ministers. Okay, so the judges of the Supreme Court are appointed by the president, and the Supreme Court judges may have the qualifications. Means the first one is he should be a citizen of India. The second one is he should either be an advocate of the High Court or any of the two or more such courts for 10 years in succession. Succession means one after the other, not break in between. So he should be an advocate of the High Court or two or more such courts for 10 years, or he could be a judge of the High Court for 5 years in succession or in standing. So any of the two, plus he should be a citizen of India. Okay, so these are the qualifications of a judge of a Supreme Court. Then the term means that when the judge is appointed once, the president has no rights to remove him. The term which that judge will serve will be up to the age of 65 years. Okay, till the time he is 65 years of age, he can remain as a judge. Okay, but and neither the president nor the prime minister can remove the judge of Supreme Court unless he is found guilty of corruption or treason, and he can only be removed by impeachment. Like if there is this process is only done with in the case of president, and same is the case with the Supreme Court judges. Now children, I am going to discuss the powers of the Supreme Court. The powers are divided into basically 5. Basically there are 3 powers of every court, which is original power, appellate power, and the advisory power. These are the basic powers of a Supreme Court. Plus another 2, that is, it is a guardian of constitution, and it is the court of record. So I am going to explain it in detail, each one of it. Original powers are those powers which under which the Supreme Court functions. Like it caters to the disputes between the central government and the state government. Okay, if any dispute is there between the central and the state, if there is a dispute between one state and the other state, so state versus the other state, okay, if it thinks that the fundamental rights of an individual are violated, so violation of fundamental rights, if it thinks that they are getting violated, and also if the Supreme Court thinks that the violation of constitution is being done by an individual, so violation of constitution is also falls under the original power of Supreme Court. Means any case related to all these 4 things will be dealt in the Supreme Court. Okay, so appellate power. Appellate means to appeal. Okay, when, for example, if you need a phone for playing a game, and you approach your mother, and your mother says, no, that I will not give you the phone because you have not studied the whole day. Okay, then you think that mother's decision is not right. Then you go to your grandmother, and you ask her if she can give you the phone. Okay, so what you are doing is that you are appealing to your grandmother because you are not satisfied by the decision of your mother. Similarly, if any person is not satisfied by the decision of the lower authority, judicial authority, for example, if a person appealed in the High Court and the High Court's decision is not acceptable to that party, so he can appeal in the Supreme Court. Okay, so that is the meaning of appellate power. So in the appellate power, the Supreme Court hears the appeals of the judgments of the High Court. So whatever are the judgments of the High Court, that those judgments are heard in the Supreme Court, Okay, so the High Court's judgments. Okay. Supreme Court is the final court of appeal. Now, if the Supreme Court decides, if this court decides something for an individual as a penalty or a punishment, okay, then that person cannot appeal to any higher authority. All right. Then advisory and revisory jurisdiction. Jurisdiction means children area of influence. So what is the advisory area of influence of the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court can advise the president, okay, on request and on legal and constitutional issues. So advising the president, that is the advisory function. And also the Supreme Court has a power to review any judgment or order. So revisory means to review, okay, to recheck if any law is passed, rechecking is to be done. That is done by the Supreme Court. Okay, whether there is any mistake, or if there is any mistake, to rectify that mistake. Rectify means to correct that mistake in the law. That all is done by the advisory and the revisory powers of the Supreme Court. Okay. Then the next one is the guardian of constitution. It safeguards the constitution in two ways. It can cancel a law or an executive order if it is found violating the constitution. Means that the government, if it passes a law which is not in conformity with the constitutional rights, then it can just cancel that law. It can issue writs or it can issue orders with enforcement of fundamental rights. So it can issue its own orders or writs. So okay, orders, small executionary orders, they are also called writs. Okay, so it can issue its own writs, and this is how it safeguards the constitution. Now children, this can also come as a short answer. This can also come as a short answer. What all powers are there? Original powers of the Supreme Court. Okay, then Supreme Court can review any order, any law which is passed by the central government as well as the state government. So there is no jurisdiction, there is no area of jurisdiction. It can review, it can advise on all the matters of the country. Then the last is court of record. Court of record, the Supreme Court records and prints whatever case has been discussed in the country. It records and prints and keep it as a record for further future reference. These records are served as references in future cases. The Supreme Court functions as the court of record. Okay, so it keeps the references of all the cases. Now children, with this we finish with the Supreme Court. In the next video I'll be discussing about the High Court. Thank you.